Now that you've drawn the walls of your room, it's time to draw the objects that are inside of your room. So just like how we drew our walls and the things on the walls, everything to the left of the corner will be drawn using the right vanishing point, and everything on the right will be using the left. All of the lines that are horizontal will go to a vanishing point. The other lines of your object will not use a vanishing point. So this corner right here, it goes straight up, so that one's pretty easy for me to figure it out. The ones that you may have trouble with are the lines where it doesn't go straight up and it doesn't go to a vanishing point. Like the edge of my desk where it goes and meets the wall. For that angle, I just had to observe the desk in my room and mimic that angle as best as I could using a ruler. And this is where two-point perspective drawing can get a little tricky when you don't have a guide or reference to help you draw some of these angles. You just have to use good direct observation, and it may take a couple tries, but you'll get it. I always start drawing my objects with the rectangular and square objects. So this can be a bed, a desk, a bedside table, anything that's square or rectangular. I always start with them because I do have vanishing points that can help me draw them. And then later when I go to draw other objects that aren't square, I can use the angles and measurements of the objects I've already drawn to kind of help me place the non-rectangular objects within the room. We don't want to just draw like stick figure desks and beds and all that. So make sure you look closely at any small details on these objects, like I added the drawers to my desk, but don't go crazy because we're going to detail all of the objects in the next video. So once again, you can use the objects you've already drawn to kind of help you place these new objects. So I knew that my bed started right in the middle of where that tapestry is. I also was struggling with where the headboard of my bed met the actual bed itself, the mattress, and I knew that it lined up perfectly across with the corner of my desk right there. So I knew that that's where the bed started, and then I used my vanishing point to bring it all together. And as you work on these, you can always erase the lines on the inside of things you've drawn in the past, such as wall details or anything like that. But just remember to touch it up after you're done drawing. Like go back and fix any spots that you may have erased too far, just to keep it organized and clean. And now that I'm drawing on the right side of the corner of my room, I'm using the left vanishing point to draw the horizontal lines of this bedside table I have. But as for the edges of the table that go backwards towards the wall, the edges that are perpendicular to the horizontal lines, there's no vanishing point that we use for those. You just use your ruler and draw the angles yourself. And remember to add three-dimensional lines to help it all appear more real. So on the legs of this table, I'm gonna draw 3 lines because I can see not just the front of the leg, but also a bit of the side of the leg of the table. Once you finish an object, just remember to clean up your drawing, go over any lines that go behind it, or maybe they got a little erased. So once you finish drawing the rectangular and square objects, you're going to draw all the other objects that are in your room. These can be a lot more difficult just because you don't have vanishing points or straight lines to kind of help you out with exact measurements. But this is why I like to draw all the square and rectangle objects first, because now when I'm drawing this chair, for example, I can use the desk behind it and my direct observation skills to figure out where the top of the chair is, the curve of the chair, things like that. So if you do have an object and you're struggling with the angle of it, something that I did is with my printed photograph, I took my pencil and just went over the curvature of that chair multiple times so that my hand could get a feeling for it. And if you don't have a printed out image of your room, that's totally okay. You can just look at the object you're drawing in the room and in the air with your pencil go over the movements of that object. It does the same thing as if you had it printed out. So continue to draw all the rest of your objects in your room. We're going to go and add detail to everything next.